Okay, let's take a look at credit cards in this video. So here's kind of what they look like. They're a little plastic card and they've got some numbers on them and your name's on here and there's expiry date and there's MasterCards and there's Visas. They're the two common ones. There's also American Express. But basically there's a plastic card and you carry it in your wallet, and when you go to pay for something, usually you insert it into a machine and there's this little chip in there that it reads, or you can just tap your card on the machine and boom, you've paid for your purchase. And now you can even have your card on your phone and you can use your phone with the image of the card to pay for your purchases. So let's talk about what some of the advantages and disadvantages of paying with a credit card is. So what are some of the advantages? Well, first off, it's extremely convenient. It's pretty nice to not have to carry around wads of cash and making sure you have the exact change for your purchase. You can just go and tap on the machine and you have paid for your purchase. So that's definitely an advantage. The other nice thing that you get is every month you'll get a record of what you've spent. So you have an ongoing list of the things that you've spent using your credit card, and it's easy to check your payments and do things such as budgeting. The other thing that's an advantage of using a credit card is you get some membership rewards. So usually there's some advantage for using the particular credit card. So this one here, this President's Choice financial card, President's Choice is tied to usually grocery stores, and so maybe you get some cash back on your groceries. You can earn some points and use it to redeem for groceries. Obviously, this is an Amazon card, and you can probably get some rewards with this card on Amazon. And this particular one, the RBC Cashback, probably at the end of the year, if you've made some purchases on the credit card, you would get a little bit of money back at the end of the year. So often the credit cards have some sort of reward attached to them. The other nice thing about a credit card is if you are good at paying your credit card off every month, then you can build a good credit rating. And this is important if you're going to, for instance, take out a loan maybe to purchase a car or something later on down the road. If they can see that you've been good at making your regular monthly payments on your credit card, then you can build up a good credit score rating. And the other nice thing about a credit card is you are offered some purchase protection with that card. So if you've bought something that happens to usually to be a defective product or something, and maybe the company or the store was having some sort of a issue with you returning it, something wasn't particularly fair, you could go to the credit card company and they can reverse your transaction or advocate for you on your behalf with the place that you purchased something from. So those are some of the advantages of a credit card. But what are the disadvantages? Well, over here, one of our advantages was it was very convenient. That can also be a disadvantage if you have a problem with spending and you start racking up too many things on your credit card and you can't pay it all off at the end of the month, then you may start running into problems with debt. And this leads into the next one here. The interest charges on a credit card are often huge. And so if you don't pay entirely your bill off every month, now you're starting to incur large interest charges for not paying off your credit card. Some credit cards have annual fees, so in order to use the card, you might have to pay $100 every year. Typically, those would go with a very good membership reward. So sometimes that's often offset with the rewards that you get. And the other problem sometimes with credit cards is if someone else gets your credit card number and your password and whatnot, then it can be used by scammers, and you can have some credit card payments on there that you did not actually pay for. The good thing is, though, is that you do get this accurate record, and when you check it every month, if you see something on there that is not what you spent it on, then you can contact the credit card and they will reverse the charge and probably issue you a new credit card. So those are some of the advantages and disadvantages of credit cards. So there are websites that can help you find a credit card that works well for you. One of them is ratehub.ca. And if you scroll down here, you can see some of their top picks for travel reward credit cards. So here you can compare how much your interest rate would be if you don't pay your payment off in full each month. You can see that there's some pretty high annual fees, like $500 every year just to use this card. But you get some pretty good rewards for the first year, up to $900 back on this card. And you can see that some cards have a minimum required income, so they won't even give you this credit card unless you're making more than $200,000 a year. And then some of them have a recommended credit score too that you have to get. So these would be cards that you wouldn't be able to get right out of high school, sort of thing. You can get some cards that give you cash back. So again, it shows you the interest rate. It shows you how much you need to pay each month to use the card, and your cash back that you can get, and again, how much income you need to be earning in order to get the card, and what your credit score is. So lots of different credit cards out there. Here's the best store credit cards. Here's one with some lower interest rates, and you can see some of them have a smaller minimum required income in order to get those cards. So credit cards are fantastic if you are going to pay them off in full every month. If you always make sure you have enough money to pay for your expenditures at the end of the month, then they are super convenient. You can get some excellent rewards for traveling or cash back or groceries or whatever you want. Excellent. Where they come into big problems, though, is when you do not pay them off every month. So let's take a look at a credit card payment calculator. And let's just say, so this is kind of a neat little site here, that you have $1,000 on your credit card balance. So you've spent $1,000 on various things in the month. We have the annual interest rate here of 18% charged on the credit card. And then let's see what happens if we only made the minimum payment each month. So the way it's set up right now, the minimum payment is $10 or 3% of your credit card balance, whichever is greater. So 3% of $1,000 would be $30, which is more than the $10 minimum payment here. So based on this information, the first minimum payment you make is $30. Now that minimum payment is actually going to go down as we start to pay off our balance, because the 3% of a lower total will eventually be less than $30. So option A is we're only going to make the minimum payment, which is either 3% or $10. Another option is we're going to do our $30, our minimum payment, but we feel we can afford an extra $5 every month. So we're going to throw in an extra $5 every month and see what happens to how long it takes to pay off our $1,000. And we'll look at this scenario here where we're just going to pay $100 off every month. So $100 right now would be an extra $65 over the $35, and it would be an extra $70 over our first minimum payment of $30. So let's calculate this and see what the difference is. Okay, so option A was just making the minimum payment. If you had $1,000 and all you did was do the minimum payment, it's going to take you 10 years to pay off that $1,000. So that was your original balance. You're going to pay an extra almost $800 in interest. So the total amount you'll pay on that $1,000 is actually $1,798.89. So you're almost paying double for what you paid for it. Option B is we were going to do that minimum payment, but we're going to do an extra $5. So instead of 10 years now, it's 6 years and 2 months to pay this thing off. So now our original balance was $1,000. Now we're down to $512.52 of extra interest. So our total bill would be $1,512.52. So just paying that extra $5 each month saved $286.37, and we paid this thing off in 3 years and 10 months of less time. So we paid our debt off almost 4 years earlier. And if we could do that $100 every month, it's only going to take us 11 months, so less than a year to pay off our debt. We started with $1,000, so the interest then is only $91.62. So that's a savings of $707.26, and we would be debt-free 9 years and 1 month sooner by paying $100 every month. So it's kind of a neat little calculator, and you can see that if all you're doing is paying minimum balance, you end up paying a whole lot of extra interest. So obviously the very best thing you can do with a credit card is to never have any debt carried on the card. 18% is a lot of interest, and some of those cards are even 30% or higher. So high interest if you don't pay it off. And you can see here the little graph here. So there's the $1,000. There's the extra money if you just do the minimum payment. There's the extra money if you did an extra $5, you'd save almost $300. And here's if you paid $100 every month, you'd only be paying $91.62, and you'd be saving this much. And then you can see the time. There's the time it takes if you're doing the minimum payment to pay it off. There's the time it takes to pay off your debt if you were doing $100 instead of just the $30. So lesson with a credit card: super convenient, easy to pay, but make sure that you pay your credit card balance off every month.